Welcome to the show where we talk about the things to do, places to go, the food to eat, and the amazing people that make this region the gem of Southwest Ohio. Oh yeah, and maybe a little real estate too. Welcome to my town. Welcome to Living Loving Dayton. Well, indeed, welcome to Living Loving Dayton. It's the show where we talk about the things to do, the places to go, food to eat, and the people that make this region great. But of course, we will be talking some real estate too. I want to introduce you to the Living Loving Dayton show and episode number 1, numero uno. And I'm going to be your host. I am Mark Peebles. I am with a real estate team here in Dayton. I get the privilege of leading a team that is the Peebles Group. And really, it's a family business. My dad started in this business 46 years ago. I've been privileged to work with him for the past 13 and now get to lead an amazing team of agents that serve our communities in the greater Dayton area, Northern Cincinnati area, and it is just a joy to me. So what I want to do is I want to talk to you about why we're doing this show, Living Loving Dayton. The reason for this is because, one, I am passionate about this region. I am passionate about this city, and I just think Dayton has so much to offer that I want to get the word out about it. There is so much to do here, to see here, such a rich history, and so much good food. As many of you know, I like to eat, but there is just so many amazing things about this city that I want to continue to tell people about. And so that's one reason we're doing the Living Loving Dayton show. We're also going to be talking about real estate in this region. How is real estate affected by various market conditions? And what are the home values like in this region? I want to help educate the public about the real estate in this market. But I want to tell you first about a dream that I had. A dream, not a dream like sleeping and had a dream, but a dream of mine since I was a younger man. My wife and Elizabeth and I, we studied in London, England when we were in college. And when we were studying in England, we lived in Wimbledon and we'd grab the train every day and we would go into London. And I absolutely love the history that you find in the city of London. In fact, everywhere in the world that I've ever been, and I've done a lot of traveling, I am so fascinated by the various histories of the places that I've been. And so in London in particular, they have a certification for guides called the Blue Badge Certification. Now, I don't know if it's the same today, but back then they had this Blue Badge tour guide certification. And I told Elizabeth that in those days we were engaged. We were going to be married later that next year. And I told her that my dream was to someday retire, come back to England, and become a Blue Badge tour guide in England. Well, I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but what I will tell you is that my passion for history, my passion for culture, that has never changed. In fact, today I do community tours on a very regular basis, and I do these tours for people who are coming in from out of the area, and I get the privilege of introducing them to the Dayton area. So I will show them everything from downtown Dayton to the various communities right around Dayton, like your Oakwood, Kettering, Centerville, Springboro, Beaver Creek, Bellbrook, Miamisburg, so on and so forth. But then we do tours that go all the way up to Troy, Ohio, and then all the way down to Hamilton, Fairfield. I've been out in Oxford recently. We go all over the place introducing people to what I believe is an amazing region, an amazing area to raise a family. And I know that I'm privileged to be able to raise my family here. So I love guiding these tours, and I love sharing stories. I love sharing history. I love talking about restaurants. I love talking about the organizations and businesses that we have here in our region. And I thought, I want to start sharing that out on podcast land and video land. And so that's what we're going to do. We're starting this Living Loving Dayton show to talk about everything great about our region. So we're going to do it in segments, so you won't have to watch long segments. Obviously, when we do get to making this a podcast, it will, be longer format, but we're going to cut it down for video purposes into shorter segments. So some of those segments might be a market minutes segment. That'll be where we talk about real estate, what's going on, not only on a macro level, but how does it affect us here at a local level. We'll talk facts and figures about buying and selling a home in that segment. We'll do a home sense segment. We'll talk about everything pertaining to keeping your home healthy and protecting your investment, from maintenance to what upgrades you should be considering and what's going to get you the best return on investment. Then we're going to do the community imprint segment. I'm going to love this one because we are very active in our community, and the vision of our real estate team is to leave a meaningful imprint on every family and every community we serve. And so we want to leave a meaningful imprint, and we also want to recognize those people, those organizations, and those businesses who are doing the same, who are leaving a meaningful imprint, not only in this local community, but an imprint that goes beyond. And so we're going to recognize those folks. We're also going to do a history and folklore segment. I love the history of our city, so we're going to talk about it. And so that is going to be one of our segments where we're going to talk about things that are original to this city, to Dayton, and to this region. And then we're going to do a things to do and only in Dayton couple of segments. And of course, that pretty much sums it up. Things to do in the area and things that are only found in this area. There's going to be some other segments that we're going to do. We will introduce those as we go along, but I just want to say this. I am so excited to bring you and introduce you to my town. And so I just want to thank you for joining us here in episode 1. We are going to be releasing these, again, video format, short segments so that they're easy to watch, and then eventually we'll launch this in longer format on a podcast. But thank you so much for joining us today. Join us next time for Living Loving Dayton. Bye now.